What's up YouTube? It's Polyglot Hacks here, and today we're going to be talking about the most satisfying thing about learning languages. And if I had to pick one thing, that is going to be the one thing that I'm going to be discussing today, so stick around. Alright, so being a polyglot, I have a lot more to say than just one thing that satisfies me when learning languages. But if I had to choose just one thing, it would definitely be the fact that when you travel or when you speak to someone who's native in your target language, it is so satisfying. And let me explain why. Alright, so a few years ago, I went to a program called My Explorer. And this is a Canadian program that was funded by the government of Canada. And they literally paid us to go to Quebec for 5 weeks, stay there, and learn French at a university. We stayed on campus and it was an amazing experience. Anyways, when I was in the city and I was speaking with natives, it was such a satisfying experience to not only be able to speak to them, but to also be able to understand them. And the reason is because I was applying what I learned from textbooks and all kinds of resources that I used in order to learn the language. And when you're actually using what you're learning, it is so satisfying. If you've ever heard of the expression, knowledge is useless unless it's applied. Well, when you're learning a language, you're applying every single rule that you've learned from day one. And that's why learning a language is so satisfying. I talked to one of my professors about this as well, and he's also a polyglot. He knows like 10 or 11 languages, which is absolutely amazing. That's like crazy. But anyways, he was also saying the same thing. He was like, it feels like a sort of magic. And I totally agreed with him. And I was like, yeah, it's de la magie, which means some magic in French. When you speak to someone in their native language and you're just conversating, and you can tell that the conversation would have been different if it wasn't in their native language. And also you run into people who can't even speak another language with you other than your target language. So at that point you realize that, oh, I couldn't have even communicated with this other person if I didn't even know this language. So for example, once I went to like Staples and I ran into a grandpa and he spoke only Spanish. And when I asked him a word in English, because I didn't know the word in Spanish, he's like, no hablo inglés, which means I don't speak English. And that blew me away because the only way that I was having a conversation with them was because I knew some Spanish. Alright, so that's my response to why learning languages is satisfying. The one most satisfying thing is just being able to communicate with someone in their native language. It's just a different feeling when you're using all your skills and you're putting them to the test in a real life conversation. If you have any other questions, I'd like you to send it to my email at contact@polyglothacks.com. contact@polyglothacks.com, and I'm gonna try and answer some of your questions as I go. Keep in mind that I am a university student, but I try my best to make videos as often as possible. Thanks for watching. Holla back at your boy.